Hey, what's up, guys? This is AJ, and we are going to discuss Standing Committee on Water Conservation today in this lecture. As you already know, I am going to dictate some points, and you are going to make notes out of those points, and you are going to revise those notes. I will suggest you to write those notes on loose paper, so it will be helpful and easy for you to update those notes later. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is going to cover all the main important like the complete uh, topic will be covered by these notes. This is not my whatever I am not saying that that is going to happen, but what I am saying is that this is going to just act as a base. So whatever the basic of this particular committee, that you will know from this video. Okay, and I think it is sufficient for you to write those points in your answers. Okay, it is more than enough, but still I am not saying that these are perfect notes. Okay, so just hear me out and make notes if you find anything new. Okay, so yes, one more thing I would like to say that aesthetic values of these videos are very poor. Okay, so you must have been hearing some background noise, as well as there is no proper points are not arranged on a particular slide. Okay, so like you must be following so many other channels on YouTube. So these channels are, their full-time job is to upload video on YouTube, but that is not my that is not the case with me also. Okay, so I have to prepare my preparation, as well as I am giving you some of my notes. Okay, so that is the basic idea of these videos. Okay, so let's start. See, this committee is headed by the Mr. Hukum Singh. Okay, see, this standing committee on water conservation is headed by the Mr. Hukum Singh. Okay, so they looked up into following four matters. Okay, what are the matters? First is need for water conservation, then techniques for water conservation, then third is factors influencing water conservation, and fourth is national water mission. Okay, so these points, about this point they have said something. Okay, so what are the salient observation of this standing committee? First is they have stated that there is low per capita water storage in India. Okay, so what they have suggested is that this, whatever the like I will say, like 209 cubic meter per person is the availability of water today in India. What is the threshold? The threshold is 1000 cubic meter per person. Okay, so we are lagging behind this. Okay, in this sector. See, we are having very less cubic water per person than what is required. Okay, so why this is happening? Because of the increasing population, so we are losing per person water. Okay, so this is what they have suggested, that low per capita water storage is there, so we should be aware about that. See, this the point that I am suggesting here is that this kind of factual data you need to write in your answer. Okay, so then what are the measures they suggested about that? See, they said that compiling data regarding large and medium dams. Okay, uh, this should be done. Okay, so what we need to compile data regarding large and medium dams and its capacity and whatever the problems they are having. Okay, so this kind of things a government should do. Next thing government should do, reviving the status of the execution of these dams. Okay, so we have like various schemes. I am not remembering that scheme right now, but there is one scheme under government of India. They want to rejuvenate our irrigation projects. Okay, whatever we have, like we know that we have spent so much money on irrigation, but still there is a less result. Okay, so what are the lacunas in this field that we need to find out and we need to correct them? That is the idea behind these kind of suggestions. Okay, so there is a one government scheme that that I don't remember right now, but that is there, that we need to put in our answers. Okay, if there is a answer on water conservation or anything regarding agriculture, the infrastructure problems in agriculture, in that point also we are going to state the name of that scheme. Okay, I am not remembering it right now, but that is there. If you can, then you find it out. Okay, otherwise I will uh, tell you that about the scheme in next video. Okay, so next point is timely completing the dams or the irrigation project. Okay, this is again the suggestion by this committee, that they say that we need to complete the dams in within the given time frame, it will be beneficial for the end user. Who are the end user? Most of the time it is farmer. Okay, next point is there is a decline in groundwater. Why this is happening? Because there is an increase in pumping depths of the well and tube wells. Okay, so day by day people are digging bigger holes in the mother earth. Okay, so this is the point that they are saying, that is why we are losing important groundwater. Okay, next point is cultivation of water intensive crops. Okay, so majoritarily we produce the crops of like wheat and rice. These two crops are very water intensive, so they reduce the ground level water. So this is again a new problem. This is the problem that we are facing right now. There is major crisis is going on in the Punjab. Okay, so or might be in the future, that because of the overproduction of the wheat or over exploitation of the groundwater. Okay, so this is the point given by this committee. Next is why we are losing groundwater, because there is an increase in salinity of groundwater. Okay, so that is why also. What are the reasons of increase in salinity? That is not the the subject of this today's topic. Okay, so that's why we are going to not go into that depth. Okay, next point is so what to do now? Okay, so this is, yes, we got the problem that there is a decline in groundwater. Now what to do? So solution is create well defined policy. Okay, so what does that mean? See, like we have stated earlier, that the pumping depths of the well is increasing day by day. So there should be a well defined policy that is going to state some rules, that if a particular person wants to take bore in his home, or wants to take dig one well in his farm, then there should be limited amount of depth that he can reach. Okay, so you should define how much depth they can reach. Okay, and other parameters about that particular bore well. Okay, so this should be done by the government. Next is free supply of electricity for pumps should be regulated. Again, what is the case in the today's scenario is that this farmers need to give water to their farm. Okay, so why they need electricity to to use their pumps to pump out the water from the well and supply it to their farm. Okay, so they need electricity. So what is happening? Most of the time the related respected state government gives this electricity at a very low or minimum or no cost. Okay, so these farmers tends to use the pumps, like water pumps, uh, like every now and then. Okay, so and again they most of the time they choose water intensive crops, because they know that there is a plenty availability of the water for their farm, so and at the very cheaper rates. Okay, so most of the farmers choose the water intensive crops, and as well as they use their water pump every now and then frequently. So we need to curb that. Okay, so there should be like this free supply of electricity for pumps should be regulated by the government. There should be particular policy regarding that. Next point is this committee stated that this problem is severe in Punjab. Okay, so they are highlighting the issue of Punjab, that there is a water intensive crops, there is a electricity is also available at cheaper rates. Okay, so that is why this committee is highlighting this point, that this should not be the case. Next point is traditional water recharge and harvesting practices. See, the committee states that these our indigenous traditional water recharge and harvesting practices should be encouraged. Okay, so nowadays we are not using these facilities, like these practices so often, but committee states that we need to use these practices very often, and there should be a research committee should be there. Okay, so this research committee is going to what, this they are going to decide whether there is what are the demerits and merits of this type of indigenous water conservation practices. Okay, so should we accept them, should we implement them in our farming sector, or we should refrain from using them. Okay, so that should be decided by the expert committee. That is not the job of this Himmat Singh's committee. Okay, next point is preserve and improve indigenous technique. Again, this is the point that they are saying that we should encourage the use of the traditional practices that we used to follow, but somehow they are not being followed in today's scenario. Okay, next point is they state that aquifer mapping. Okay, so what they stated is that there is a one project, that what is the name of that project, national project on aquifer management. Okay, so what this job of the project was to map the aquifer. Okay, so all over the India. Okay, so what they have stated is that this committee, the Himmat Singh's committee states that this project is not getting enough funding. Okay, this is the first point. This national project on aquifer management is not getting sufficient funding, and whatever that project is identified only 5.5 lakh square kilometers of map, like all the aquifers they have covered the area of 5.5 lakh square kilometer, but instead they should cover 23 lakh square kilometer. Okay, so still this huge amount of land is being remained from mapping. Okay, so that is what the committee is suggesting, is that we need to identify, like we have to complete the mapping of this 23 lakh square kilometer area as soon as possible. Next point they have stated is that there should be timely and optimum utilization of budgetary allocations for the scheme. Okay, so this should be looked after by the government, that they should allocate enough funds, sufficient funds in their budgeting to this kind of project. Okay, so there will be proper mapping of aquifers, then we can take a policy decision based on those results. Okay, so that is what this committee is stating. Next point is water budgeting. See, again this keyword you should not forget, you should focus on this keyword. The keyword is water budgeting. What does that mean? See, they have given a definition also. What is the definition? Accounting of all water that flows in and out of a project area is called as a water budgeting. Okay, so how much water is coming inside a particular project area and how much water is going outside of particular project area. So if you do the summation, then you will find out what is the water budgeting of that project. Okay, next point is why to do this. See, it helps to conserve water from rainfall and surface runoff. Okay, so we know that Cherrapunji is a case that I will give you, that that highest rainfall happens in a Cherrapunji, one of the highest. That is not the highest, there is another city is there also, so it has the highest rainfall, but Cherrapunji is also second highest place, is a place where it is the second highest place where rainfall happens. Okay, so what is the case there? See, this Cherrapunji is located at the hilly area. Okay, so whatever the water falls on this Cherrapunji, it flows down. Okay, they are unable to conserve this water or use this water effectively. Okay, so that is the problem in Cherrapunji. So there is a water scarcity even if there is a high amount of rainfall. So same thing happens all over India. So we don't focus on water conservation projects. We don't compulsory or make mandatory of the use of rainwater harvesting techniques. Okay, this is not mandatory in every state of India. So this happens. So what happens again, if the water runs for on the ground, okay, with a high speed, then it takes like soil with itself. Okay, so this is called as a surface erosion. So this erosion happens, soil erosion is the phenomena is happening. So we lose good quality soil due to the rainfall. Okay, so to avoid these kind of things, we should be adopt this we should stop this rainfall and surface runoff. Okay, this is the suggestion by this committee. Okay, so next point what they say is that Ministry of Water Resources should issue guidelines for the same for states. Okay, so what is the next suggestion given by this Himmat Singh's committee is that they say that Ministry of Water Resources should take this responsibility and give some proper names or rules to the state governments, that these rules should be followed by the state government. Okay, next point is ensure state specific action plan for water conservation. Again, see, we have a principle of cooperative federalism. Okay, so due to this, what happens is that we need to include the states, various states of India, in the decision making process. Okay, so what is the problem here? We are having the problem of soil loss, then less use of rainfall water. Okay, so to solve these issues, we should take the opinion of the states, as well as we should create or ensure the state specific action plan for the water conservation. Okay, so this is again we can use this same statement for in the context of cooperative federalism, that if we are doing this kind of thing, then that means we are promoting, the central government is promoting cooperative federalism, like, because they are including state in the bigger problems. Okay, so next point is water regulating authorities for water conservation should be there. You see, this committee gives the example of Maharashtra and Gujarat. They say that if you see in Maharashtra and Gujarat, there is a water regulating authorities. Okay, the same model should be followed by the all the states, okay, across the India. So this is the suggestion given by the committee. Next point is water use efficiency under national water mission. Okay, this water use efficiency under national mission should be increased by 20%. Okay, so whatever the efficiency of the national water mission is having these days, we should increase this efficiency by 20%, at least 20%. That is the suggestion by this Himmat Singh's committee. Okay, so how to do that? Then issue the committee says to the water resource ministry that they should issue directives for water use of like water use efficiency, to improve water use efficiency. Okay, so this is the suggestion by this committee, that Ministry of Water Resources should do something regarding this. Okay, so now what I am saying to you is that, see, remember this example of cooperative federalism that I stated. Then we are going to suggest that this model act, okay, that Maharashtra and Gujarat has water regulating authorities. So these types of things should be implemented by the various states. Okay, so this is again this is called as a competitive federalism. Okay, just because one particular state is going ahead, whatever the machinery it has, then the other state should compete with that particular state, and in this competition, the individual will, that is the citizen of that particular states, okay, so will get benefit, because like the states are running towards the progress, na, they are competing for progress. So this again we can state this example in competitive federalism. This is the keyword. Under that we are going to state this example, that there is a good regulatory authorities for water conservation in Maharashtra and Gujarat. All states should follow this. Okay, we should be like them. Okay, next point is what we are going to state. What is the major provision of this committee is aquifer mapping. Okay, so you remember this keyword, national project on aquifer management. This project you should not forget. We are going to use this in our answers. Okay, then there is a next keyword. What is that keyword? Water budgeting is the keyword. What is the definition? I have given stated it earlier, so you remember this definition and use it constructively in your answer. Water budgeting. Next point is traditional water storage, recharge and harvesting practices. This week you can say that in your essay also. Okay, so if there is a India like essay on India's traditions, like what India gave to the other worlds, or what other worlds like other countries can learn from India. Okay, if this kind of essay is there, then if you are saying that India is rich, diverse country, throughout the centuries Indian traditions are very effective, then to prove your point you can give this example of whatever this committee stated, that you can directly quote, like according to Himmat Singh Committee on Water Conservation, this they are encouraging the traditional practices of water recharge and harvesting. Okay, so you can say that how rich is Indian culture. Our traditional practices are scientific in nature, they are very effective, so world should learn from it and follow these practices. Okay, so this kind of statement you can use in your essay. Okay, next point is what was the next point that we need to remember. The first point that I have made, that low per capita water storage is there. At that point I have used some numbers. What were the numbers? Number was 209 cubic meter per person. Okay, first number. And next number was, I have stated that threshold is 1000 cubic meter per person. Okay, so this brings specificity in your answer. Okay, so if you state this kind of facts in your answer, then it becomes more interesting. Okay, so examiner thinks that this person knows something, or he knows what he is talking about. Okay, so he is providing some facts to me, so he gives more marks to your answer. Okay, so that's why bring these kind of things in your answer. So you should make one register and write down some points on those register, where these points should be very, like hospital to bed ratio. What is the hospital to bed ratio? What is the infant mortality rate? How, what is the exact population of number of youths in India? Okay, so these kind of facts you should know. Okay, you should make one register. In that register you write down these kind of facts, and it will be easy for you to remember them and to reproduce them, these facts, in your answer. Okay, so this is called as a value addition to your answer, and only value addition will give you a good post. Okay, if you write a general answer, then there is very less chance you are going to get all India services. Okay, so if you want all India services, then you should add this kind of facts in your answer. Okay, so thanks guys for watching this video, and we will meet in a next video. Peace.